For number 50, we also want to find the domain. Now in this one, because there's an x squared in the denominator, there's a very good chance that there's two numbers that we're going to have to exclude from the domain. So a couple different things. You can set this equal to 0. X squared minus 9x is equal to 0. But really, to solve this, we're going to need to factor it. So from these two terms, we can take out an x, leaving us with x minus 9. And just like if you were solving a polynomial or a quadratic, you're going to take each factor and set it equal to 0. So from this one, we get that x is not going to be able to equal 0. And from this one, we get x is not going to be able to equal 9. So how you would write your domain is, again, every real number except for 0 and 9. And if you graph it and look at the table, you'd have, like, your x columns would be, your x values would be here, your y values would be here. When x is 0, you're going to see an error over here in the y column. And the same thing for 9, you're going to see an error. When you graph it, if you look at where x would be along the x-axis, or where 0 would be along the x-axis and where 9 should be around the x-axis, there should be something kind of funny happening with that graph. And you'll learn a lot more about rational functions and the graph of those functions in pre-calc. Right now we're just kind of focusing on the domain. But I mean, so it should look kind of weird at those points on that graph. So again, that's your whole domain, so we're just going to exclude those two values.
Made with Doodlecast Pro.